It must have been arduous making a documentary like this, a lot of work. Talk a little bit about the process, if you wouldn't mind.
It certainly was an interesting adventure. I mean, one of the issues, and we didn't really know going in, is what the infrastructure in Senegal would be like. And in fact, not surprisingly, in a couple of major urban centers on the coast, it's pretty good. But further inland, it's absolutely hopeless. Something like half the population has quite literally no access to electricity. And of course, they don't have blacktop highways and so forth. So, and you were never sure if anything was going to work. But it was, even the difficulties were very revealing of the kind of conditions under which people are living, not just in Senegal, of course, but in a great deal of what we call the third world, particularly in Africa. And so much of it comes down to the fact that they don't have reliable energy. There isn't machinery. So much of the labor is done by hand. There isn't power in the hospitals, if that's the right word for them, and there aren't schools with working lights and air conditioning. And so this perpetuates this cycle of poverty and indeed, in many cases, of hopelessness. And it's just so cruel that so many Western environmentalists who take absolutely for granted all the amenities that come with a very high standard of living powered by reliable, affordable energy would casually condemn these people to continue to live in those circumstances without, in most cases, ever having gone and looked at the consequences of what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm reminded, if you go back to Barack Obama's time in office, where he would talk about climate change to the African people. Like you can't have, refrigeration, and you can't have air conditioning here. You can't have cars and, all these other toys because climate change. And I don't remember them thinking that that was a very good thing to do. Here was somebody from the West trying to keep them down in a sense. And it's a form of green imperialism, isn't it?
It absolutely is because we've got all this money and we say, "Oh, tut tut tut, we shall not lend it to you to build a natural gas power plant. You must have solar panels." And we did visit one village where they had a solar panel, but they said, at night the lights just go off and they're trapped indoors. We don't dare go outside because of the snakes and the scorpions, and they don't have running water in their homes, including they don't have toilets in their homes. So this is what their life is like. Whereas Barack Obama, of course, flies around in airplanes and he has a mansion by the seaside and all the push button luxuries